overcame the pain and all the hardships. We focus on our game and kept the targets. They try to take our brain and keep our raw gifts, but we still remaining, now we bullshit. Flawless, you know how I go. Black power looking good and we let it show. We stack by the hour, yeah, and we let it grow. These crackers not doing nothing, we let them know. Nothing you can do gonna change us. We always gonna be around, we gonna bang what. We never gonna simmer down, you can't tame us. No religion, no mysticism can chain us. Black is all you hear when I'm talking. I'm repping for the light to the dark skin. RBG stepping when I walk in. Crackers really mad cause I'm flossing. Black is all you see around me. I put my hands in these hearts in the streets, yeah, they lean on me.
Rocking with the same script, hopping off the same shit ever since they dropped me off the slave ship.
Black is all you see around me. I put my hands in these hearts in these streets, yeah, they lean on me.
Rocking with the same script, hopping off the same shit ever since they dropped me off the slave ship.
Watch the step out, a black king. My fists in the air while I'm rapping. RBG where you see my fashion. My fame is all here, no lacking. You see the vision, it's all clear. Black power living here with no fear. We did the prisons, we dropped the tears. Now we're focused on this our peers. RBG, yeah, on the pop out. A cracker go to sleep, that's a knockout. What you want, eat, go and rock out. Black everything, this a lockout. The camera's on now, go and take a flick. The pressure been on, can't take a hit. Ever since they dropped me off the slave ship, I've been on the same shit. Black is all you see around me. I put my hands in these hearts in the streets, yeah, they lean on me.
Rocking with the same script, hopping off the same shit ever since they dropped me off the slave ship.
Black is all you see around me. I put my hands in these hearts in these streets, yeah, they lean on me.
Rocking with the same script, hopping off the same shit ever since they dropped me off the slave ship.
You think you be going like this? Hey, that's it. Come on, man. Come on, Mika.
You gotta show them how to stack it.
Come on, Mika. Why you hope you have a shower? It's in your head. It's always music playing. Doom, 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 doom.
Gotta love my brother Quebutter and the Zayak Institute. Gotta show the Brooklyn family love. You know, if you're looking for an independent school for your children, whether you're in the tri-state area or anywhere else around the country, your child can also attend Zayak Institute virtually. So you might want to look into that. That's Zayak Institute, and we are definitely proud to salute our own here on the Thorough Black Talk Worldview Network. What's good, family? Hope y'all ready tonight. We got a lot to discuss. We beginning Black History Month. You know what it is, family. You know how we do it. It's our time. It's our time to shine. You know, we shining all the time, but you know, for them folks, you know, that like to designate specific times, and for our people, you know, who are not quite there yet, we got to stay with them. You know what I mean? So they can raise up to where we are. You understand? So we get in where we fit in. So we begin in Black History Month today. Shout out to our family from around the globe, the African diaspora. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. I hope you all are doing well around the globe. You know, get in where you fit in. Never let nobody, and I'm saying it's heavy. Never let nobody take your shine. Be Black, be proud of your culture. Even though people say, you know, Black people in the Americas, they don't have a culture. They don't have a culture. Meanwhile, it's the #1 export in the world, but we don't have a culture. Our culture is immersed in our song, our dance, our lives, the way that we move, the way that we think, our inventions, you know, everyday modern inventions. You know, so many of us who are driving vehicles with that GPS system, you know, you got a Black woman to thank for that. You know, not only are we going to give you sight and vision, but we also can give you direction. So we're going to celebrate ourselves this entire month. And after February is over, then we moving in. It's more Black history because then we got Black Women's History Month. You understand what I'm saying? So shout out to Sister Donna, all the way from Alabama, Birmingham in the building. Or as, you know, those of us who are students of history will say Birmingham. You know, peace be upon the great Fred Shuttlesworth of Birmingham. You know, the Reverend Herbert Oliver, who I have had the pleasure of meeting and working with in this struggle for liberation. The great Reverend Oliver, I had the pleasure to sitting down and talking with the great Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth. You know, I even got spanked by Dr. Reverend Oliver. That's a story for another time. I might tell that story next week because, you know, as me and my brother Tad was talking about the other day, there are a lot of problems in leadership. And, you know, some people don't like to take that spanking when they need it. And trust me, in my trials and tribulations of coming up through this movement, I definitely had my spankings. So I had to learn, you understand what I'm saying, and humble myself in this fight because it's a serious battle. So shout out to the family in Birmingham. Brother Kerwood, what's good with you? Glad you could join us. Sister Joyce, Brother Monty on the check-in family. How you doing? How you doing, Brother Monty? I hope everything is well, brother. You know, speaking of Joyce and Monty, you know, people know I don't play about my weapons. You know, one of my first encounters with firearms and the way that, you know, they are dispersed around the country and who's using them and who's training with them. I have my brother Monty to thank for that. You know, Monty would always bring me information and articles and things of that nature to keep me abreast. He even gave me a special present, and I still got that present, Sister Joyce and Brother Monty. It sleeps with me. Let me just say that. You know, it sleeps with me. I'm gonna leave it there. You ain't gonna tell our business. Brother Magnetic Peace Tyson, BK Finest in the building. Peace, my brother, all the way from Kakalaki, North Kakalaki. There it is. Sister Farnessa on the check-in. Yes, sis, we ready to go to the moon. I'm telling you. You see this mess with Elon Musk? He done implanted the Neuralink already. FDA approved, but you know, with these oligarchs, you know, they can buy government and buy approval, and move forward with diabolical entities, if you will, and getting the blessing of those that, you know, some people that you know may have elected into office. So we're gonna get into all of that tonight. We're gonna give my brother Tad a few minutes and we're gonna run through some things. Don't want my brother to rush. He getting it right. Sister Amanette too. Midwest family on the check-in. What's good with you and your king? Keep doing what you doing, sis. You know I'm always watching. I'm always lurking in the corner. You never know where you're gonna find me. Facts. I know you ready, Brother Peace. I know you ready. I know you coming with them historical facts. You know, I'm honored to call Brother Magnetic Peace Tyson my big brother. You know, I learn a lot from him. And if you don't follow him on Facebook or whatever, the jewels that he drops, whew, telling you 100% thorough. That's BK thorough. You know, Brother Kev South Kakalaki in the building. Brother, you see the disrespect that President Joe Biden showed to the people of AME Baptist Church in South Kakalaki, and the shenanigans of some of those folks. But we'll get into all of that, bro. I'm glad you want to check in so you can give us your perspective of what's happening. Brother Ray and the BK William Mackey History Club in the building. I believe their next class will be with the History Hitman. Am I right, Brother Ray? If not, let me know what it is. Sister Carol, I hope you are feeling better. I hope you are taking care of yourself. You know, Sister Carol, you know, she works in the medical field, you know. So I know it's hard sometimes for those of you who are in these positions to relax yourselves. I want you to heal and heal great, sis. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Glad you with us. Yes, 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 yes. So let's get into it, family. Let's get into it. In recent news, I know you all have heard about the interaction between members of the NYPD, that's New York Police Department, with members of the migrant community. Got into a bit of a scuffle, if you will. And well, let me get my brother Tad in here. You ready, brother Tad? You ready? You show. Here you go. He said, yes. I listened to my brother.
Yes, I am. Yes,
brother.
I am, sis. How you feeling?
As you say, blessed and highly favored. Blessed
Yeah.
and highly favored. We got another day above ground, another day to be great and to keep pushing forward and to make, our ancestors' dreams come true. Brother Tad, that's the way I look at it, in light of recent events. And I saw, I think it was yesterday, the post that you made in remembrance of your mom. We got to remember that we are left here to continue the task. You know what I mean? We have to take the jewels of those who came before us to carry the task forward. Take all of that and push forward. Like I said, I buried 2 uncles in 3 weeks. And they were the epitome of manhood. We don't have stuff like that no more. I'm telling you, where now let me tell you something. These are uncles that married into my family, right? They aren't children of my grandparents. These are uncles who married my aunts 50 years and beyond in marriage. Set an example of stepping into a family and taking up the role of manhood. Somebody told the story. My uncle told another uncle who, shout out to Aunt Marie and Uncle Jesse. They've been together, 35, 36 years. But anyway, when he came into the family, his coat was pulled too. When you come into this family, we bout it over here. This is the real thing over here. Don't come over here playing no games. You know what I'm saying? If you're not here for love, don't come over here with no shenanigans. And every uncle that I've had married into the family lived up to that. No, they weren't perfect, but I'll tell you one thing, they were perfect for us. They were perfect for us. You had an uncle who, in his line of work, was able to put my cousins, in a position to meet presidents, leaders of industry. You know what I mean? And then let them know that the number one job in this family is protection. And so, I always say this, the sister Keisha you see before you is because I have men in my family that make it so. So I can say what I want, when I want, and how I want. And don't come at me crazy because they will see you. You understand? So my husband had to go through that too. When we decided we was going to jump that, bro, my uncle said, come on in the back. We in the back. Come on in the back. And this was dead of winter. Now I'm talking about winters where it was brick. Where snow was up to here. And he went in the back. It was 0 degrees outside. When he came out that room, he was sweating. You understand what I'm saying? He was sweating. And I ain't never had these kind of crazy problems that I see a lot of y'all have problems with today. You understand what I'm saying? But even not just my uncles, but my male cousins, they bout it. You understand what I'm saying? Pick up a phone. That's why I stay to myself. So I don't get in situations, because if I make a phone call, they don't want to hear no ifs, ands, or buts. It's where and who. That's it. So, I'm very careful about things that I do, people I'm around, because if I pick up that phone, even my brother Tad, my brother Ashe, my brother Blacksmith, if I pick up that phone, they not going to say, well, what did you do? What the? Listen, if my brothers are in trouble, my uncles know. Listen, when we have family gatherings, I went straight to the back to see with them first. Straight to the back to see with them first. You understand what I'm saying? Then I came out and, chill with the family or whatever. It is what it is. I got my family's back. I got my brother's back. I don't play these kind of games. And I'm very particular on who I keep around me in my circle because I ain't got time for shenanigans at all. Like Brother Taz said, we don't need no judges giving us no time. And we don't need no problems. So that's where I'm at. Oh, Brother Ray said, Brother Trust Graham, history and the importance of study groups. Wow. I'm going to be in the building for that one. I love Brother Trust Graham. Brother Trust Graham, he always say, people need to get out of your way, Keisha, because, I'm going to keep that to myself. I'm going to save that story for another time because we got a lot of fake ones around here. And, we're going to deal with that in the coming weeks, man. We're going to deal with it all because we got to pull back these layers so that we can heal and we can move progressively. And right now we stagnant. We real stagnant. So we got to move progressively. So we're going to peel back some layers and we keep it thorough over here. But I'm going to get off my soapbox, Brother Tad. What's good?
Ain't nothing. Shout out to Brother Ray and our Brother Trust Graham, the William Mackey study group. Study groups are very, very, very important. I think we just having a conversation throughout the week, talking about the importance and the value of the UAM. And it's so unfortunate that we don't even have any organizations like that even could compare. Unfortunately, it's almost like the resistance is dying down. It is unfortunate. I think that's when we got in the conversation about the crisis in leadership amongst our folks. And I think Black History Month is the perfect month for us to at least agitate the consciousness of the people and bring it forward that we have all of these great race giants while we aren't further than we should be. And we have to critique what went wrong and what was done right. And it's just crazy, given this day and age, looking at the migrants, our giants, our teachers, our elders have all forewarned us what was to come. And I will always go back to Dr. Claude Anderson because he wasn't the first one I seen, but in recent times, saying that by 2015 we're going to be wiped out. We don't have much time. He was the only one that I know of that really put a time limit on it, that let us know the clock was ticking, that it wasn't just rhetoric, but here's the plan. And we see it happening. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing told us, about the system of hierarchy and colorism. If you white, you all right. If you yellow, you mellow. If you brown, stick around. If you black, get back. But Dr. Claude told us how they was going to implement that plan. So we fast forward to this week. We see that you look down in Texas, that there is no protection to the border. The gates are wide open. Anybody can just cross the street. You're in the United States. We don't know who's coming here. But with that, they're making their way to New York, and we just seen them beat on a couple of cops. Now, I'm not saying they were right or wrong. What I'm talking about is there's no consequence for the action because we don't know who's coming across these borders. Because there was an FBI report as well talking about identified terrorists are making their way into the United States. In fact, so many they can't even keep track because everybody's circumventing the system and just going through Mexico. They're going through the back door. So now I was working with the migrants last year, and there was just excessive violence. And even when I called the police on them, all they did was take them to the precinct, a couple of hours, just let them go. They were right back. It's amazing. And they're organized. They jumped a bunch of brothers in the shelter. I mean, they're organized. But what was crazy, Sister Keisha, is that the brothers they jumped, remember, this is a men's shelter I was working in. They're not fighting the gang dudes, the dudes who really, they're not fighting the warriors. It was dudes who have substance abuse issues, elders. And I felt bad because as a Black man, I'm on the job and I wasn't there Had I been there, I don't know what I really would have done, because you know I'm raised first. But I just see the writings on the walls, because they come as a gang, they organize as a gang, they move as a gang, not a posse, a gang. It's just crazy, and our people don't have an understanding of what's going on. Then you have fake intellectuals, you know, trying to rationalize everything and talking about these are our brothers and sisters. Nah, they're not. My niece put a post today. She said, if you got 4 black grandparents, make some noise. I love that. You got 4 black grandparents, make some noise. Because we're always trying to invite people into our parties that they don't even think about inviting us to. And then we give them all our resources, we give them all our information. Black History Month. What have we learned through our story? We have no friends. Yeah, you could be an ally in a specific cause, but we don't have no friends. No one wants to see us win. Nobody, because it's a race. A race ain't nothing but a competition. The finish line is who's going to be in charge, who's going to control the resources. But I digress. I'm step off my soapbox.
Brother Blacksmith, good to see you, my brother. How are you this
Brother
evening?
Black,
Chilling. How y'all doing today?
we chilling on the lookout for UFOs and things like that.
Yeah, man. Well, them aliens is supposedly space aliens.
Oh, it's not the Mexican alien?
Why you keep saying Mexican, man? Most of the ones that's turning up in New York right now is from Colombia. And I don't know if y'all heard on the flip side of that, a lot of 18 passport brothers got killed in Colombia last month alone.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, Brother Black. I'm glad you said that, because not just Colombia, the DR as well.
Well,
learn today. Didn't I always say, listen, if you can't keep your sexual urges under control, it will be used against you, i.e. Fannie Willis in Georgia. Listen, but we're going to get down that line. As Brother Taz said, a fight broke out with the NYPD and some migrants who were staying here in the city. Now, take it from me, and next week I'm going to have some undercover video if all works well. They have completely taken over Midtown Manhattan. I'm talking about from 28th Street all the way up to Rockefeller Center. They gotta listen. Y'all know how big Bryant Park is. You can't even go in Bryant Park.
wow.
And they got it sectioned off. The Venezuelans over here, the Colombians. I'm serious. You got the Africans in one corner riding the subway in the mornings. Oh, man. It's horrible. It's horrible going into Midtown. You get off on the 7th Avenue side, say between 38th and 42nd, that side. Over in the back where they had
Port Authority at?
Yeah, all of that over there. Brother, you can't even get up on the sidewalk in the mornings. You got people trying to go to their 9 to 5 or whatever, go to school. You got schools over there as well. And they literally have to go through a myriad of migrants. It's so bad. 2 people I know, 2 black women that I know in recent months sexually assaulted in Midtown, groped by migrants. You have stabbings that take place on a regular over there. They are causing so much havoc in the stores. Like I said many times, they take shopping bags and go into stores like Lotless and CVS and Rest and just fill up the bags. And, you know, like these police who said that they are handcuffed by these laws because these people are deemed refugees. They have no status. So you can't touch them. Allegedly. However, I do know the law. And this is why you have to separate media rhetoric from learning the law. The NYPD, like any police department, is a standing army. A state has a president. That president is called a governor. It's a standing army. When you approach or encroach soldiers on a battlefield, they have every right to attack. Every right. How do I know? They do it to us. If this was Brother Black, Brother Chad, Brother Monty on the street fighting with the NYPD, oh yeah, them 9mm would have been pulled out. Why? We relinquished our refugee status for citizenship. And see, when you have refugee status under international law, because of emerging markets within governments, they have to adhere to certain citizenship. So, for example, the relationship that the United States has with Venezuelan oligarchs allows Venezuelans to come in at will and have free reign and access to everything that your tax dollars have provided because of that particular status. Now,
And then the right to shelter law too, as well, in New York in particular.
right. In most of these democratic cities, in fact, I'm glad the citizens, the Black American citizens of Chicago, decided to sue the city. And this is ongoing. We have to, like I said, lawsuit, a class action lawsuit is the way to go. Now, let me digress for a minute. Puerto Rican woman, I believe in the Bronx, living in NYCHA, was attacked. She is now suing NYCHA. I said this a couple of years ago, that those of us who came up in the crack era, for example, where you had hallways that were completely dark, where you had people who was hustling in the buildings, selling in the buildings and all of that, we should have had class action lawsuits against NYCHA for their inability to protect us. See, when you are a landlord, it's your responsibility to cover your tenants. That's why you got to make sure the lights is on, the gas is working. You know, even though they pay for the utilities, you have to make sure these things are operational, right? Otherwise, you're breaking the law. It's the same thing here. In this instance, it's the same thing. And we don't understand that. Now, when these migrants attacked these NYPD officers, now you see Governor Hochul saying, wait a minute, we might need to deport some of these folks. Why? Because the PBA got in her back. That's why. The PBA got in her back and say, look, we carried you here. You better fix this situation. And they are working on some things behind the scenes from my readings to remedy the situation. However, we will bear the brunt of it. Trust me, when all is said and done, as the weather begins to warm, they're going to start, listen, these MAGA folks, I'm telling you, it's about to be on 10, family, and we're going to catch the brunt of it. And you have to look at your own doing in this. We have to boycott the vote. We have to. Everybody gets what they want except for us. Everybody. We are on the bottom, literally. I'm watching a video earlier today of some people from throughout the diaspora saying that we clout chase our own culture. I mean, everybody is against us. And so that's why the kickoff of Black History Month is very, very important. Very, very important. We have to change the narrative of what's going on, and we have to be progressive in our approach to what's happening to us. No, now you got the aliens above you. Everybody above us, black. You understand what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
you told us that we have to be on the lookout for all of these different distractions that will be put before us. And right now, it seems that a lot of people are, I want to say, firecracker aware in certain things. I mean, it's like a spark, and then after that, it's over. But that's not progression. You can't solve things in a snap. And a lot of black people are going to be used as cannon fodder for the Democratic Party and the Republican Party this election cycle. Both are fighting for our vote. Let them fight it out. Because until they give us what we ask for, what we demand, the answer is no. You can all fight it out amongst yourselves. And I'm going to tell you this, I have not voted for anyone in either party in over 20 years. I woke up a long time ago. Once I saw what was behind the iron curtain, I'm like, this is over. This is over. It's a wrap. Over 20 years, I refuse. I refuse. And you have people who will tell you, especially during this Black History Month, that your ancestors died for you to right to vote. And we said this on the show many times. No, they didn't. They died because they was black, period. They died because they was black, period. But I'm going to get off my soapbox. I see my sister Marcia trying to get in here. But Brother Tad, I want to ask this question because it looks, because I'm watching some of the commentary of this video on Instagram and on YouTube that are championing, these migrants for fighting with the police, but black people won't do it. You'll sit there and let the police shoot you in the back, shoot your kids, run over your grandma, throw your grandfather in a ditch, and you won't raise a goddamn finger. Here's somebody just got here 2 weeks ago, and they on 10. What do you say to that, Brother Ted?
Clearly, they don't suffer the consequences we suffer. We get shot for nothing, walking down the block. These people assault them, they don't face the same consequences. We get shot for going home, for having a wallet. We get shot for reaching for driver's license. We get shot walking our children home. We get shot during traffic stops. And we don't have a country to back us. We're like orphan children out here. But we did fight back. And I don't never want anybody to misconstrue that as if we always laid down. This is just a little intermission. It's like when boxers box, After 3 minutes, you take a break. Right now, we're on our little break. The fight ain't over till we win. However, I dare one of them to run up on us with that rhetoric. Or even with the hands. You can't do what the police do. I tell people, police got a license to kill. You don't. You act stupid. I mean, but it's always easy to point the finger at the victim. And I hate using that word, but it's the English language. It's just using it for a lack of better word, because I don't view myself as a victim. Ain't too many European people put their hands on me. I'll be honest with you. I don't put my hands on more Europeans than Europeans put their hands on me. You could bet that. However, we got to change the narrative. We got to always talk about our success stories, because most of these people don't know everything. The opportunity to even come here was on the back of us. Sister Keisha, wasn't you sharing with me just earlier this week that your grandmother sponsored families to be in the U.S.? But people forget, because where will you get this information from? Thorough Black Talk, the William Mackey Study Group, Brother Trust Graham, Brother Mike Graves. However, we not flashy. We not selling people the moon. We not selling the sun. We're giving you reality. That's why people will follow a pedophile, like the sucker that sell you the what's that
Sovereign
stuff?
rights. Sovereign rights.
Yeah, your sovereign rights. A sucker like that, because it's fantastic. You believe that. That's why for over 10 years you'll still give your money to a school that ain't coming. But then you won't support ones that are built. Shout out to our brother Quebutter and the Ziax Institute. Our brother Marcus Klein. You won't put your money where your mouth is. Why? It's the same thing like the preacher. You got to sell people stuff. You got to sell them a bill of goods that sounds too good to be true because the people been dumbed down. They're naive. There's no critical thinking process going on in this world right now. Everything is microwavable. Remember before, 15 minutes was short. You watch a video for 15 minutes, that's a teaser. Now 15 minutes is too long for anybody to sit down and learn anything. People don't read no more. They rather just YouTube it, Google it, AI it now. AI, who is Harriet Tubman? And this is important. This is very important because you can't be what you don't see. If you only see failure, chances are you're going to be a failure because that becomes your norm. But if you see success, you see resistance, you see manhood, as Sister Keisha started the show with, you're inclined to imitate that. These things are very important. Just look at the animal kingdom. I'm going to make this point real quick. Just look at the animal kingdom. Look at lion cubs. They always roughhouse with each other. They always tumble in the plan because this helps them be tough. This helps them be ferocious lions instead of little pussycats like we see so many in the streets now. But where's our images of king lions? You'd be hard-pressed to see a lot of videos of Dr. Khalid. You'd be hard-pressed to see videos of Malcolm. And I'm not talking about them just talking, but them really going in the streets, standing in the face of the enemy, ready for whatever. I remember I saw a video of Dr. Khalid go down to Jasper, Texas, when they murdered our brother James Byrd. While everybody was just around the country talking about it, Dr. Khalid went down there and confronted an angry European mob. White folks they ain't rolled out the welcome wagon for him. They wasn't happy to see him. But that's the fearlessness we need. But they won't show you that. They always want to show you what a boy named in the dressing room, RuPaul, and what's the other one, Billy Porter and Lil Nas X. That's what they want you to see.
And the Swallow King.
Oh,
It ain't Swallow King, it's Swallow
there
King.
you go. It's we got let it roll up your tongue.
I stand corrected, my brother. I stand corrected.
But I'll say this real quick because this is done intentionally. So now when we have serious conversations about what's necessary for our preservation, for us to get our slice of the pie, since we're the bakers of the pie, we sound crazy because everybody's supposed to get along. But they attack the children, and it's only till people really understand how the system works. Once they in the system, once they at their job and they see they get passed over, they see they get spoken to in a condescending tone, they're told that their hair is too ethnic, they can't wear their hair like that, and why are you wearing those type of clothes? That dress is not appropriate for. You're not allowed to express your culture, but everyone else is. And the only culture they want to give you is the manufactured culture of criminality, of blackness being synonymous with criminality. They never want to attach blackness with genius. As Sister Keisha talked about, our GPSs, the automobiles, the air conditioners. What haven't we done? I just learned this earlier this week, Sister Keisha. The store counters, created by cabinet
Yes.
makers. The refrigerated carts.
Yes. The brush. Your everyday convenience, your everyday uses. We've invented. And we have to stand on that.
Got robbed because we couldn't get a patent during the times most of these inventions were created. But
speaking of that, Brother Tad, I'm glad you said that because one of the things that is taking place right now, and a lot of people aren't talking about it, is patent pirates, right? You have Black people who are still inventing and still having their patents stolen today. I'm not talking about 100 years ago. I'm talking about today. In every aspect, in technology, in fashion, in commercial industry. Go listen. After tonight's program, I want y'all to Google patent pirates and see how many patents that these large corporations are stealing from our people right now. There are some great inventions on the horizon, and because they won't sell or work with these big corporations, or these big hedge funds, those are the ones who are really doing it, like your Black Rocks. Patent thieves. Patent thieves. So, Sister Marcia, I'm glad to see you. Let me just show this real clip, and we'll come right back with Sister Marcia, and we'll get into the discussion. Check this out about patent. This is a brother who created a design, a fashion design. This is just one patent theft that's happening. Hold on, here we go.
Tried to steal my design. If you're new here, I make cool bags that can match with all your outfits. They look like this. There is nothing like this on the market, well, until now. So I was scrolling on Instagram and I got an ad, and I see my exact style tote bag with the interchangeable parts to it with the Chanel logo on it. And they captioned it, "Create your own style." After I go through the entire ad, I just felt weak, like I couldn't move my arm, my legs. I felt devastated. They stole my exact design. One thing they probably didn't know is I have a patent on my design, so best believe I was planning to sue them. So I contacted my lawyer and discussed about the whole situation. My lawyer was able to get the email of their design team and emailed them. Follow to stay tuned for part 2.
I mean, this is big. This is serious. This is just one example. Go ahead, Brother Black.
Keisha, real quick, because I know Marcia didn't speak yet, but real quick, this is the same thing that happened. This is why they killed the dude, forget his name right now, in Buffalo. That at the top supermarket, yeah, that had the patent was pending. It was almost in, but not quite yet, for him to invent a car that had that could run on air and water. Go ahead, Marcia. Peace to you, sis.
Peace, family, and welcome to another Black Thursday with Thorough Black Talk. I am so pleased to be here yet again on this Blacktastic Day. Theffery is theffery, and we know theffery from Louis Vuitton. We see that our ancient ancestors on the continent already had that pattern. Theffery is theffery, where the Ndinka symbols that, we are right now recognizing as our own, but we see them throughout everything. All metalwork has Ndinka symbols, and if you don't study the Ndinka symbols, you won't realize that those are yours, that they are repurposing for their own economic pleasure, and we are just consuming. We like to buy. Even though we produce, we'll just like, I'll rather buy it. Forget about it.
Well, listen, this is a big thing. In fact, a very popular sitcom, or not sitcom, a television series on Showtime, in a few of its episodes talked about patent thievery. If you watch Billions on Showtime, they even talked about it. This is big business, and it's happening not just here but around the globe. See, when you see all of these brothers and sisters and they're showing off their inventions, like Brother Black said, the gentleman in Buffalo who invented a way where you can run your motor vehicles on water, he's gone. Now, who got that patent? Who got that patent? You understand what I'm saying? Who got that patent? We don't know yet. At least I don't know yet. If somebody know, tell me. But this is what's happening now. So everything that we get our hands on, these people have always, milked. And in fact, I have to be honest here. When it comes to us in this part of the globe, in the Americas, North America, that is, as I said, it's the number one export in the world. And a lot of people like to downplay that. Our culture itself is a patent. How we move, how we think, how we converse is a patent. But everybody milks it. You can go to another country and they'll be dressed just like Tad is, or just like I am, or whatever. They gonna come and they gonna do that.
The Chinese man is now putting S curls or some sort in his hair so he can have a fro. So
everything,
you know,
everything.
the Arabic person is doing these cornrows these days. So everyone is manipulating us for their pleasure, but they're not manipulating our struggle, our pains, or anything. They'll leave that part for us to handle, and they'll take everything that looks like glory. We have to reclaim our glory.
Right.
And this is why it's so dangerous.
Uh-oh, Black, you got frozen there.
Most of our
There you go,
listening
brother. You got it. Go ahead, brother.
Did you hear me?
No, say that again.
Oh, okay. And that's why it's so dangerous for us, because you mentioned the culture part a little while ago, as far as what, you know, how we act, our music, you know, how we our swag. Let's just say swag. You know, it's so dangerous for us as a whole, as a people, not us on the panel or our listening audience, but it's so dangerous for us to call people like Ye and Dave Chappelle and people like that. I'm talking more the whistleblowers from 10, 15 years ago, as opposed to the more recent ones, like Cat Williams and Jaguar Wright and people like that. But we call these people crazy. But a lot of people never bring up that Ye was talking about, let's expose these contracts that them J people are giving us, where we're not making no real money when it comes down to it. Even if I'm a billionaire, how much did I generate?
And we created this industry. There was no industry without us. Whether it's fashion, whether it's music, whether it's the visual arts, whether it's the dance, the talent, and not just that, the intellectual properties behind it.
There you go.
We can't act like we didn't have the black major leagues. We can't act like we didn't create our own industry, because that's the thing. They always want to see us as entertaining, and they never recognize our genius. And that's a problem within itself. You know, shout out to Dame Dash for being a genius. I seen Fat Joe said something slick trying to be cool with Jay-Z, talking about, you know, he should have made another Jay-Z if he was all that. He said I didn't have to. And then he ran down all the multi-million-dollar businesses he created. But again, to your point, Brother Blacksmith, they try to dumb it down, try to make everybody seem crazy, because you think they hate Dame Dash too. But Dame Dash always talks about keeping the money amongst black people. They didn't like Dame because Dame stood up to them people. He stood up to the Leo Cohens and the likes and anybody who supports them, and called them culture vultures. Like, yo, you robbing from my people. You robbing.
They are.
And anytime a black man stands up talking about being a boss, talking about being a man, walk with your back straight, everybody call him crazy or a problem. And unfortunately, too many of us, we focus in on their shortcomings, them being humans, and not listen to the message in the bigger picture that they're trying to convey. Take back your power.
And by the way, a great point, Brother Tad. I want to just piggyback on something real quick that a lot of people don't acknowledge. When Jay started around the late 90s, early 2000s, after Tupac and Biggie had disappeared off the scene, and Kanye was already producing for what would wind up being Rockefeller, and then the Rock Nation, and all the other affiliates that they had, especially the dudes from Philly, with Beanie Siegel being the most prominent out of all of them, and then Freeway behind them. A lot of people don't know that if Jay was the boss at that time, Kanye would have never got a recording deal. It was Dame that believed in him and put him down, said, nah, he gonna get an album too.
That's a fact.
And he wound up being just as big as Jay, if not bigger, because he's an artist per se, as opposed to just a rapper like Jay is.
Kanye's actually a visual artist too. If you see
Yeah,
some
I
of the
know.
pictures
He has a lot of people don't know he got a degree in fine art from the Fashion Institute of Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah. So when he doing these designs and doing stuff and talking about how when he produced, he see colors and stuff like that, he not just talking about his musical genius, he talking about his artistic genius, period. That's what an artist is. An artist ain't supposed to just be one-dimensional.
Facts.
Remember,
And,
real quick,
and
sis.
they see things a little differently, and
Real
people,
quick, sis.
take that for granted. Go ahead, brother Tad.
They just call it drapetomania. Modern day drapetomania. Anytime you want to be free, anytime you want to take your destiny in your own hands, they want to call you crazy. You want to escape the plantation, you want to be free, he crazy. It hasn't changed. But go ahead, sis.
Thank you, brother, for that word.
True indeed. As Russ said, shout out to the Philadelphia family. Russ said Jay was robbing Rockefeller. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have some stories that I can tell because whatever. Let's I don't want to get off course here. But we got to talk about Charles F. Page, a black man who the patent office robbed yet again for the airplane before the Wright brothers. And now this history has resurfaced. So let's check this out and we'll come back and we'll discuss.
James Orville and Wilbur Wright are mentioned. The beginning of aviation is often the thought that follows. But history is changing, and it may be time to add another name to that conversation.
He's doing something that virtually no other person in world history did, and he did it here in Pineville.
Meet Charles Frederick Page, a black man born into slavery that taught himself how to read and write, but more impressively, according to local historian Michael Wynn, patented the first airship.
It's a story that it truly is unbelievable, and not only unbelievable that it happened, unbelievable that it's being ignored until 2023.
Wynn has uncovered local newspaper articles and reports from 1904 recording the outstanding feat of flight by a black man and his airship. His research even further led him to find Charles F. Page's patent predates that of the Wright brothers.
I think Page deserves that whenever the Wright brothers are mentioned, Page should also be mentioned to some extent in our national history books.
The innovative accomplishments of Page are not only confirmed by historical record, but have lived on through family lore. And Joseph Page, Frederick's grandson, is glad his accomplishments are finally being recognized.
For our grandfather to finally be recognized for his contribution to aviation is a significant event, not just for our family, but I think for Central Louisiana.
The city of Pineville unveiled a historical landmark in honor of Frederick Page on the land that he and his family have owned since he purchased it over 100 years ago. Pineville Mayor Rich Dupree has known the Page's name since the early 2000s for economic additions to the property, and now he shares the unveiling of history with them.
We need to remember where we come from, and history is unveiled today in a very special way in the city of Pineville.
History for Central Louisiana is changing, and Joseph Page hopes it changes elsewhere as well.
When you hear about the invention of the airplane, you immediately think about Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and the Wright brothers. But you never heard of Charles Frederick Page in Pineville, Louisiana.
Now, Pineville has a historical marker honoring Charles Frederick Page for his innovation and contributions to the community of Pineville. As for the airship Page patented in 1906, there is no surviving model because as Page was sending his model to St. Louis for a world convention, Wynn says it was presumably destroyed.
It was shipped, and something happened. Now, due to the Jim Crow prejudice of that time, we firmly believe that it was stolen and destroyed.
After the destruction of the airship, Page changed route due to the racial obstacles of the time and reportedly went about his life no longer pursuing aviation excellence, but rather excellence for his community and family, including future descendants like Darrell Davidson.
It's very obvious that there were barriers and challenges that kept other people from making it as far as he even did.
Pineville's recognition of Page marks history for Central Louisiana, but it also sends a message people should remember about history.
The message here is that there really is only one history. That one history is what unites everybody together and gets us farther as human beings.
Brandon Brown, ABC 31 News, that works for you.
I mean, all throughout school, you heard about the Wright brothers. Never
Orville and
about
Wilbur.
Charles Page. Yes. Nothing about Charles Page. So, you know, for all of the young folks, Gen Zs who are watching the program, for you get these Black History homework assignments. There's one that you can write about that they are not talking about in your schools. Sister Marcia, your thoughts on Brother Charles F. Page?
I think my ancestor was brilliant, like so many of my ancestors and our ancestors. We are descendants of great minds, and we need to embrace those great minds and give them their accolades. Nobody clapped for them, right? No one gave them their congratulations when they needed them. And now that we are uncovering more and more stuff and more things are being downloaded to us in terms of information, it is our duty to spread that loud, fast, and wild like a wildfire, because it's about time they stop playing with us and start recognizing what they say, put some respect on our names.
I would say to that, I'm gonna say something real quick. We're gonna rename them the Wrong Brothers and then turn the page.
Oh, I like that.
I like that, Black. Thank
like
you.
that.
We're using that for mic drop. Put
Yep.
some fire in the room for that one. Put some fire in the room for Brother Black on that one. Sister Farnessa says, why do these clowns have to always talk about our history, one people? Because of the conditioning that if you hold on to the master's leg, maybe he won't kick you off. He might pick you up.
Our house is on fire, boss.
Yeah, that's the answer. That's the
Boss,
answer.
we sick. We's a sick boss.
And you know what's crazy, because this was what I'm talking about, us creating industry. Because had it not been for him, there wouldn't have been no airplane. And this is why they need to send us our check. Because we're not just talking about our enslavement. We're talking about the development of what is known as one of the richest nations in the world. And we didn't get our just due. Not just that, but let's talk about the massacres. And I'm not talking about 20, 30 people being murdered. I'm talking about, what's that? Natchez, Mississippi, the Devil's Punch Bowl. We're talking about the Red Summer. We're talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma, Durham, North Carolina, the riots in New York. Come on, man. It goes on and on and on. And all they want to do is wait another 100 years and give us a plaque and a little head nod. Yeah, y'all did go through that. You was right. You online. What?
And then give all the immigrants our reparation money and say they ain't got none when it's time to ask for it.
Right.
Another Jew, drop some fire for my Brother Black on that one more time. I'm telling you, 100, run me my money.
Not
Speaking
just
of
them.
that,
What's that? The Ukrainian war?
the
Funds to Israel?
Afghans funding Israel, Ukraine, Tunisia, all of these different things. Excuse me, it made me drop my earring. I got so mad at these people, pissing me off. I want my damn money. Like, you know, my brother said earlier, my own family. Yeah, you immigrants owe me. Run us our money. You wouldn't be here for us if it wasn't for us. We
Hey,
talked
Keisha.
about Mr. Keeble earlier this year, who was the immigration czar, who opened the door for all of y'all to come through. But when you got through the goddamn door, you slammed the door and tried to push us out of it. And now I see a lot of immigrants today.
Hey, Sister Keisha, you echoing real bad.
I know, that's your mic. I had to shut it down real quick. But now you have immigrants who are saying these migrants are taking over. How the hell you think we felt when we opened the goddamn door for you to come through? And when you got through, you look your nose down at us.
You know, Sister Keisha.
With me here. Go ahead, Sister
You know, Sister Keisha, you never know what someone is talking about until you experience it, right? Until you walk a mile in someone else's shoes, everything seems like rhetoric. Oh, you just don't want me to be happy. You just this and you just that. Look at all the stuff you got. Why can't you share a little bit of it? It's not about not sharing. It's about understanding the plight that you arrived in, because you escaped the plight. You had somewhere to escape, and people here have nowhere to escape to. And even if they wanted to escape, it's not about escape. It's about fight. Too many times we are fleeing as if we're cowards. We need to stand up wherever we are and fight. Stop worrying about, oh, they got bigger guns. Oh, they got this. Listen, my ancestors, my direct ancestors, they fought and won a war with 7 different countries. They had nothing. They had nothing but their ingenuity. They used every person, old people, women, children. Everyone was in the war. Everyone played a part. They showed you how to make stuff, put in food, do what you got to do, but you are playing a part, and everyone played a part to gain their independence. Now, what happened after that, that's a whole different story, but it still is here right now. It's still the same story. You gain your liberation, but then you fall for the tricknomics that they put on top of you real quick. They already have a plot. They already have something.
Let me just show what a prime example of what I'm talking about as far as us helping each other out. Realizing that we have a common enemy and we should have a common goal. When we talked about the World's Fair last year, and although this country's learned folks said that Frederick Douglass was one of the greatest orators they've ever seen, they wouldn't allow him a pavilion at the World's Fair in Chicago. That same weekend, you had a serial killer running through there killing folks, especially black folks who attended the World's Fair, because he had insurance on them. It was the nation of Haiti that said, damn the U.S., we will host you, Fred. We got you. We in this fight together. And when they opened that pavilion for Frederick Douglass, it opened the door for Ida B. Wells to begin talking about the investigations that she had been doing as far as the lynchings that have been going on. Here's a sister. Now, I got this from the New York Historical Society. I'll be going on Saturday. They got an exhibit I want to see. There's 2 museums I'm going to this Saturday. The Bone Museum and New York Historical Society. The Bone Museum, because I want to know who goddamn bones is in there, how they got them. So I'm going here this weekend. But Juliette Noel Toussaint, that was my grandmother's last name, Elizabeth Toussaint. But anyway, was a Haitian American woman and formerly enslaved wife of a successful black hairdresser, Pierre Toussaint. She provided funds for the New York African Society, not the Urugu Society, the New York African Society for Mutual Relief's meeting house in Lower Manhattan. It was one of the earliest mutual aid societies founded in 1808. Y'all know that date. To support black schools and provide funds for the sick, widowed, and orphaned. A trap door in the building served as a secret exit for freedom-seeking enslaved people. This is what I'm talking about. Not coming through the door and then thinking you're going to slam the door. Nah, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. We should have a common enemy, and we have to get of that mindset. But if you want it, that's fine. We see where you at. Stay on that side of the fence, because when it goes down, we're going to get you first. You getting it first. I'm telling you now, because you're an obstacle. Just like when you look at Mali, Niger, and what's the name? Burkina Faso. Now they trying to unify armies. You better, because the Yoruba coming. He's coming.
And he's going to use Nigeria as the front door.
Listen,
Nigeria and Ghana are their front doors. So
his ally is the Asian and the Arab. They coming. They coming. So you better be ready militarily.
Well,
and I'm glad that these that they are trying to unify their army, number one, because they've already had several coup attempts already in all three of these regions. See, war is not a weekend thing. It's not just going on Saturdays. It's a 24/7, 365 operation. And when you listen, even here, when we say we fighting for it, we fighting for it. You better be armed and ready. You better. Because now their allies, these folks sneaking in through borders, it's going to be against you. You heard when we played 2 weeks ago. What did the migrants say? We here to replace you. No more money for you. We taking it. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So don't be empathetic to what is happening, because they are not empathetic to what is happening to us. I have no empathy. This is war. I am a soldier. I have no empathy on the battlefield. I see a target and I stick to it. You are an enemy, and anything that happens to you.
Hey, Sister Keish, let me say this real quick. We cannot discount that police beating on the west side of Manhattan could have also been a false flag or a psyop to get black people, police, and the migrants all having a war so that the top or the people that run things or whatever powers that be, whatever you want to call them, can control it and cause mass chaos so they can finally get this stuff popping. So don't discount that. I'm not saying that's what happened. We got to put that into the mix too.
You're absolutely right. And that's a stage of warfare. And this is why I'm saying intelligence is key. So when you have people, and this is what pissed me off about those of you who work in law enforcement and the military and don't come back out and share the secrets, you're a goddamn traitor. You're a goddamn traitor. And I see you. You sit fat on your retirements and you keep your goddamn mouths closed. You're a traitor. And I see you. And when it all goes down, I'm coming for you first. I'm coming for you first. So, because they're training their own, we've shown here on this platform, they doing it heavy.
And we too afraid. Oh no, the children, they're just children. They can't do this and they can't.
It's not even afraid. It's the need to believe that these folks are human. We are the only humans. They are not humans. They are hybrid Neanderthals. All of them. All of these mixed breeds and all of this stuff. Y'all don't have to listen to me.
That's based on this.
I'm just quoting science. And if I pull it up on here, they're going to flag us. You know what I'm saying? They're going to flag us. Just like when we picked Joe Biden apart. During his first campaign, we picked him apart, showing how he said he used black people in his youth. How he came amongst you and learned your ways to figure out how these words came from his goddamn mouth. And they flagged our goddamn channel and pulled our video.
With video evidence as well of him as a young Joe, the young sleepy Joe, getting cool with the brothers.
And he telling you out of his own mouth what he did. And you still went out and voted for him. You deserve what the hell you getting. And I'm sorry, but all of y'all that pull that lever Behind that butt, you two are traitors. And I see you. I see you for what you are. You are no different. When I hear Black Americans talk about those on the continent, how they allow the Asians to use them and the Arabs to use them, you let the two political parties use you here. Stop playing with me. Look in the mirror and see what it is. See,
You know,
that's how they don't invite Sister Keisha to places. I'm gonna tell the goddamn truth. I'm gonna hurt some damn feelings. Go ahead, Brother Black.
but the payback is that, Corn Pop wound up serving Hunter all his crack and cocaine anyway. So
This is Keisha. How many years have we been hearing that?
I don't even know.
That Hunter was a crackhead.
Well, now the world believes it. Because our big brother Black has been telling us, been an informant for so long, and no one trusted his words. Well, not here.
Well, don't say informant. That's a snitch.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got
informant.
I didn't mean it like that.
I'm about to flag you. You call my brother a snitch.
Flag on the field. What color is the flag?
Hey, remember also we showed. Let's see. When I see these Black Democratic shills that they put before you to convince you that you should vote for the lesser of two evils, they forget that in Biden's COVID Zoom meeting, what did he tell selected Black leadership? You need to get behind a Hispanic. He told you. Why you think, you don't be surprised what you see at the border? He already told you, but you took your dumb ass in that poll anyway, and you voted for him. You see what I'm saying? Come on, you gotta listen, look yourself in the mirror and see the problems that we've caused. Black history is not something that is dead, buried, and gone. It is continuum. What is our history right here in the here and now?
They want to be Black. He said, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't Black. So they had to vote for him to keep their Black card.
Guess I'm not Black.
That's all right. Listen, I'll be whatever you want me to be, as long as you give me what I want. I'll be a fool in the moon if my people could get what they want. Reparations, when they want it and how they want it.
That's right.
Like I said, I can prove my family's legacy on both sides. I can prove it. I sat before a Senate committee and spoke on behalf of my goddamn ancestors. Don't play with me. I can prove it. Now, maybe some of y'all can't prove y'all, but you can with a little bit of research and a little bit of know-how. I don't want to hear about what's for the greater good of other folks, because other folks don't think about the greater good of us. And right now, I see a lot of our people who are goodwill are going to be used politically. And it already has begun.
They're going to be swallowed.
With our brother of the exonerated 5 who was pulled over by members of the police department, even though the mayor had pushed back on this new stop bill. Now they got to report every stop. Why are those of you who work in municipalities of the city so reluctant to change? This is why the private sector don't hire y'all asses, because you so reluctant to change and so stagnant and antiquated. You can use those same body cams to record each and every stop, not deterring anything else that you're doing. So stop with the shenanigans. But they're going to use my brother. They're going to use my brother. And I see what's happening already. And he gonna tug on them heartstrings, boy. That's how they work with us. They pulling them heartstrings. But you gotta have a warrior's mindset. On the battlefield, I have no empathy at all. None. Brother Black, I gotta say that, you laid it out perfectly, that a lot of things are going to be coming at once. And this is what's happening. This is what's happening. As Brother Taz said, they're going to tell you that we marched and prayed and all that. Now we were fighters. 100. Hell, even what's his name? W.E.B. Du Bois. He said, if they come to my door, I'm gonna pull out this Winchester and these bullets. He said, I bought a Winchester double-barrel shotgun and 2 dozen rounds of shells filled with buckshot. If a white mob had stepped on the campus where I live, I would, without hesitation, have sprayed their guts all over the grass.
And he's half white, so he know his people. For sure. No, I'm being dead serious. The other thing, I'm making a joke out of this. That's for sure. That's for sure, for sure.
But I mean, you're right, because that's one of the reasons he fled, seeing the savagery. Actually, I just started the Delectable Negro earlier this week. And it's crazy because I remember coming across throughout my studies, I don't remember where it was so many years ago, but one of the things that prompted W.B. Du Bois to leave the U.S. is when he saw in a country store they had pickled penises, our penises and stuff like that, just stuff, our body parts hung for sale. He's like, oh, it ain't no changing these folks. I'm out of here. And the reality is, and I said this in 2016, pistols and passports, got to make a decision of what you're going to do. You're going to stay and fight, or you're going to regroup somewhere else, establish ourselves somewhere else with this information that we have now. Because it's not over until we win. But what does the win look like? What does our freedom look like? And I think that's a conversation that's never really had. You keep the Democrat, when you deal with politics, people keep talking about the win is to change the law, For me, the win here is getting my check and then letting me go about my business and doing what I want to do. But pay what you owe. Pay what you owe, and then let me go about my business, because while we sitting here like a child on punishment, looking at everybody else have fun outside the window, all these other folks is going back and forth. They come here, get their money, go back to their country, build up. Come back here, get the money, go back to their country. Why don't we do that? If we're going to stay, get them pistols. C.W.B. Du Bois was talking about get your Winchester.
Well,
Kennedy Wells said every black home needs to have a Winchester. Harriet Tubman had one. Malcolm had one. Shoot, Dr. King was protected by the Deacons of Defense, and he had no problem rolling with a pistol. We know Dr. Khalid kept one. Why we don't talk about our leadership was always for self-defense and self-determination. We always want to act like everybody was soft and kumbaya and we held hands and no.
But that's the conversation.
I'm sorry?
That's a conversation from the other side of the world.
Right.
We're not the authors. We're not the narrators. So we need to become the narrators.
And that is my point. Why do we keep listening to them? Because sometimes we even ride the coattails of their talking points.
Absolutely.
And that put us in a deficit because they're still controlling the narrative. They say something about Dr. King. Oh, no, because Dr. King's all right, cool. But we talk about Dr. King on our time, not when you say so.
Yeah, right.
We talk about Malcolm on our time. We talk about Garvey on our time, not to retort the misinformation you gave. Because as long as we create our own narrative and start controlling that, they're not even on the radar no more.
Absolutely. And
we don't see it. That's the game that's being played. Because whether it's a response is it's like being on defense. And sometimes you get hit with a blow so hard, you can't respond. Get hit with the one-hitter quitter. So it's always best to be on the offense. But we have to control the narrative. We have to create the direction, not keep running behind them. Talking about, well, I'm the first black to, or we have the first black. No, we's the first everything. And we got to constantly remind people, even if it ain't true, let's say it till it's true. Everybody else do it.
Shoot, nope. We are the first parents of this nation, of this world.
I ain't talking about parents, I'm talking about everything.
And
I'm talking about who's the first one who invented a spaceship. Let's say that.
We are the first
ones
parents of the world. All children are created from us. There is no other race of people that create the rainbow except us.
Just tell them about that mitochondrial DNA, baby.
Real quick. I want to say this real quick about the first, because nobody cares who the first was unless you winning. Nobody. It's like look, it's like when you're on the block, right? And Brother Black, maybe you can attest to this. It's like the washed up OG who be like, I was the first one out here getting money. But where are you now?
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
No teeth with a
results.
No teeth with a silver chain.
If you ain't the best, we don't care. And that's what we have. I don't want to be the first. I want to be the best. And that's what matters. Because we can talk. Yo, I watch people talk about that all day long. And you know what the question I ask? Where are you now? You ain't holding the championship. You ain't holding the title. This is important, and this is what I'm talking about, controlling the narrative. Because we always want to be the first. I would hate to say I was the first one doing anything, and I ain't got nothing to show for it. I was the first one to knock somebody out. Yeah, but everybody else is knocking you out. I was the first one getting money, but I'm now panhandling.
I agree with you, but then that whole first conversation goes down to even the Haitian Revolution, right? We're the first in the Western Hemisphere, blah 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 blah.
And where are they now?
Maintaining that you're maintaining the word of the legacy, but you're not maintaining the prophecy that was given to you. And it takes courage to maintain certain things. I can't say we don't have the courage, but we're not manipulating the courage to our advantage at this moment. That is our problem.
One of my OGs always told me, yesterday's score don't win today's game. Stevie made a song, can't spend our life living in a pastime paradise. We have to orchestrate and organize our own narrative. We have to decide, what does our success look like? A lot of people are talking about, we want laws changed. Other people talk about, we want to close the wealth gap. That check will help the wealth gap. Other people talk about, we want fair and equal housing. But if you support Black construction companies, if we tell our children, get out the studio because you whack, go to a trade school, learn how to build a home for us and your family, learn how to be a community planner, things, tangible skills for nation building. Because everybody think they could play ball, everybody think they could rap, and we're gonna need more than that. We're gonna be telling them, yo, rap for revolution. No, get out the studio, you trash. Nobody's being honest with people. I mean, even it's just too much going on. It's just too much going on, and all we need is results. We don't need no more rhetoric. Stop donating to abandoned buildings, calling them schools. You could teach online. You can do online courses if you really want to be helpful. We got unemployed leadership. We got people following people who ain't going nowhere. You see them for 10 years. They haven't developed anything. They haven't organized anything. Those of us, each of us, have organized on a grassroots level that many people in the audience have benefited from. And we take a break sometimes because we get tired. Because like Sister Keisha said, this ain't a Saturday thing. It's 24/7. How we eat, how we walk, who we associate with, who we engage with. This is part of the war. But now there has to be a paradigm shift for us, because we see they open the floodgates to let in more ops. And what are we doing? We gonna fight back? Are we prepared to fight back? Because we see them turning up, because it's only a matter of time before they start attacking our community.
Unfortunately, to your comment, we're not prepared. Like there are a few of us, but when we go outside and we start talking to people in our community, they are not prepared to fight back. And that is why someone can come and knock on their door and take over their home, right? And invade their home. And now you have a problem getting them out of your home. So it is a question about, again, we constantly are behind something because we don't want to have those real progressive conversations that we need to have in our community, because I say we're afraid. Everybody else might say something else, but I think fear has captivated us in so many ways that you have a conversation with someone locally about local issues. They're your black captain, and you're talking to your black captain about X, Y, and Z. Oh no, we gotta go check with councilman and
Ain't no such things as halfway scared to death, scared to look shut. You know, it is what it is, family. This is the time that we're living in. As Brother Taz said, we talking about right here and right now. Everybody is mounting up, and we standing in the background like, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? We still looking for a vote, as if a vote is gonna progress you.
Or we're just looking for the alcohol and the drugs.
Since the 1920s, the vote has stifled you. Do you understand that voting is a mechanism of warfare? It's nothing but propaganda. Make you believe that you have some sort of control in the system. But you don't. You don't have no control in it. And we black people in the Americas are the only ones that's holding it up. I'm telling you, if one election cycle, and I'm not just talking national, but even locally, if we abstain from the vote, watch what will happen. I'm telling you, you literally break the system. You have to build anew. You can't expect to gain what you want from a system that's always oppressed you, have always stolen from you. Right? You can go back to Rosewood. You can go back to Durham, North Carolina, Weeksville, Brooklyn. Hell, we in Brooklyn right now.
Who?
You know what I'm
Shout
saying?
out to James Weeks.
You recent patents. I'm talking about today. Companies like Google and Apple and the like that are taken. When you open up your Google, if you did any search on Google today, you saw a message of Black history. Who the hell told Google they can put that up there? Who told Google that you can do that? Nah, we gatekeeping the culture. And shout out to everybody who's doing it now. Gatekeep our culture. I like how Benzino is beating the hell out of Eminem right now.
Yep, shout out to Benzino.
You call it the shade room, or not the shade room, but the neighborhood talk folks try to come at me for. Because I win at Eminem. I don't give a damn. He's a culture bandit. And Dr. Dre and the rest of them need to be held accountable. Because you allowed it to happen. You're a traitor to the race. Dame Dash is right. Come on now. We got to stop playing out here. I mean, this is 2024. Last time I checked.
A multi-billion-dollar industry that we don't
brother
control.
Taz said pistols and passports, right?
Yeah.
Brother Taz said, what we going to do, right? Now, a lot of people are returning home. Even that's big business for the continent. You see what's happening to Ghana's economy since the year of return started?
Yep.
Come on. Their economy is growing since Black Americans have been going over.
Yes.
Stop playing. This is what they said, not me. I just read the numbers.
I was there for the year of return. I was there years prior to it.
Shout out to Mama Arlene.
Yeah, shout out to Mama Arlene, the Sankofa Spa and Resort. Yeah, I was thinking about Mama Nzinga earlier today. Peace be upon her. You know? But we have elders doing work on the ground. And you're 100% right, Sister Keisha. And that's what I'm saying. We get our passports. We're not bound to this plantation. Yeah, let's get our checks. But in the interim, we can go home. We can go anywhere. We can go to the Caribbean. We can go somewhere where it's nice and warm. We ain't got to stay here in the frigid cold. We tropical people anyway.
That's right.
The planet is ours. I don't know why we're so beholden to this plantation and we don't even entertain the thought of leaving. This is just crazy because we know that the United States is an experiment. It was just an experiment. Everybody knows that but us. That's why they always talk about you know, everybody here is an immigrant. They don't talk about us being prisoners of war and victims of human trafficking. That's how we got here. But other cultures, they came here to get the money, send it back home. It was back and forth. Everybody back and forth. They come get their money, they go back home. We
You
need
know
to
what,
go home.
Brother Ty? You know,
Yes.
Sister Farnessa said, "The Caribbeans, here I come." Listen, that would be our greatest resource if they would get their SHIT together. Like if Jamaica and Haiti can get their nose off the white man's nuts for 2 minutes, we can we
Get their
can
nose off the nut.
Hey,
we can kill
Sister
the game.
Keisha,
And I'm gonna
They're
tell
being
hold on, Black, hold on, Black.
swallowed. They're
you got to say no homo on that, because if their nose is on their nuts, where their mouth is.
that's all right.
It's a family show, yeah.
They're being swallowed.
Hey, I'm just bouncing off of what she said, bro. I'm asking a question.
No, Sister Keisha is right. And the thing is, what, you know, Haiti hasn't experienced this as much as Jamaica is right now, but they buying up the coast of Jamaica. And people of the island are now can't feed their family. Now can't do the industry that they've done for over 100 years because the government is saying, "Oh yeah, let the Chinaman get this and let the Chinaman get that and let the Arab guy do this, that, and the third." This is the only thing that I respect about the Haitian bandits that are out there in Haiti that are trying to prevent some of these things. But at the same time, you're crushing the infrastructure of a country that you cannot maintain. So it becomes a double-edged sword. So
It is. And I did a study on this. And like I said this before, I worked with the girls at a Freedom Retreat. 1 year, I did a complete study on it just from my work in the fashion industry, in the shoe industry. I did a study on the resources and the availability that Haiti had at that particular time. Now, this was in the early 2000s. But at that particular time, there were people who were looking towards Haiti to help build, uh, uh, technological products like iPads and things of that nature. So in my study, I found out that they had the infrastructure to not only take manufacturing from China, but to control it. Now, when you have something produced overseas, mostly if it comes from China or things that in the Asian region, it takes you a minimum of 120 days to turn around a product, right? Now they could produce it a little bit faster, right? Because they have partnered with these said countries that I just mentioned. So now they could turn around product in 3 or 4 weeks. Haiti and Jamaica could have did that in 2000. They had the resources and the infrastructure to do it. But they couldn't get off the nuts. Couldn't get off the nuts.
Not only that,
you couldn't see the forest for the trees. And now they are totally run over. And they are using, unfortunately, a need to survive and religion to do it. Right? And they've always sent in those folks to calm us down so that they can take over. Right? UN peacekeepers are always, they the biggest pervs too. Come through and take advantage and give you the lullaby and take over resources, right? Or give you a sweep behind the door deal, like Jamaica's getting right now to help build its infrastructure. And they are soaring in many avenues. But however, I find it problematic that in the heart of Jamaica's city, the biggest, and I mean the biggest place of worship is owned by the Chinese.
Wow.
They have a cathedral-like size church in the heart of the business district of Jamaica. Now, when it comes to Jamaica, I know them streets. And I'm telling you, there is some development going on through this new leadership. However, until they get off them nuts, they're going to always be under somebody's thumb.
But Keisha, when you talking about Jamaicans being on the Chinese nuts, you're not talking about the Jamaican people writ large. You're talking about the government. Because I don't know if you remember.
Nah,
Hold on.
I'm talking about both. The
Okay, hold on though. Hold on. Remember that restaurant or resort of some sort where they banned Jamaican people from coming and they burned it? That was about a year ago, a year and a half maybe.
Maybe a little longer than that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, about a year and a half. Yeah, probably 2002. So what I'm saying is that those things are going to happen and they're going to right itself once this flash happens. So we need not worry about that because it's coming soon. I know I've been saying this for years now. I've been saying it way before I started saying it on the show. So it ain't something that I started saying as a result of being on the show or finding it out recently. And everything gonna be all right. So everything got to sort itself out. I wanted to go back on something earlier that we talked about as well, insofar as the immigrants and so on and so forth. If you notice, most of them are military age. So we have to look at all of these things that are all related as an agenda and not just like some spontaneous events that are happening worldwide in spots. This is happening everywhere, because that's happening all over Africa. I already told you I lived in Ghana. Before I left, every major road project, it was a Chinese dude up there, and mostly Chinese workers. You see a few black guys there. So it's going to continue happening until everything rights itself, and we are going to take our proper seats. And going back to what y'all spoke about before I even came on the show earlier, and then I'm going to pass the mic. We don't have to worry about all of this politics and stuff like that, because all of this is going to change as a result of everything that we already going through that we seeing right now. So I'm done. Whoever want to take it, I can't see none of y'all right now, so I hope I'm still being heard. And
yeah, I hear you. We hear you.
Oh,
we hear you.
Okay.
We hear you.
So family, hold on, I got an echo. I got to cut that off. I got to fix that. I'll let Brother Tad take it right now while I fix that.
Oh no, I'm always been a proponent for getting up out of here. Like he said, in Ghana, a lot of the people are developing people who don't look like us. Because when I was in Ghana, they were very happy that we were there. I went to Ghana and Ethiopia, and both times when it came through customs, they were like, "Welcome home, welcome home." So while I was in Ghana, I was listening to the news stations and the talk radio, the politics of it all, and what the Ghanaians wanted was us to come over. It's unfortunate that the people are coming over there aren't coming with any money. Like, black folks from the Caribbean and the US, we're not coming to make investments. However, the European, the Asians, and the Arabs are coming with money in their hand. And of course, we know how they do. They practice group economics. So it ain't like just me coming over there with a couple of grand, like, yeah, I want to invest. These people are coming with big dollars. Mm-hmm. And I know a couple of years ago, $1 US was like 10 CDs the last time I was there. So it's a lot that we can do, but we're not even educating ourselves on world affairs and other avenues where we can make our money stretch while we wait for these people to cut their checks. Because sure enough, as things are getting uncovered and unveiled, we need to put pressure on black litigants, our lawyers. Look into this reparation thing, because it's a real thing. Because why are we giving aid to Israel when what happened with them didn't even happen on U.S. soil? Come on. How do they become our responsibility that every year we got to pledge a certain amount of money to them? Meanwhile, you got the people that built the country who's still trying to rub two pennies together. We over here, you know what I mean? We over here starving. And it ain't like we ain't got the money. Let's be clear. Mm-hmm. We have the money. Mm-hmm. However, we're not allowed to educate ourselves as a group and a community to make things better for us. Meanwhile, you look at the Feinsteins, Epsteins, Weinsteins, and all of them folks. They have synagogues. They have places where I'm quite sure they're not just talking about God and all that. I'm quite sure they're talking about business opportunities, economic development. How do you make your money last? How do you use your money? Because we're always advertised to as the consumers. And that's what we do is consume every product that's put out there. You know what I mean? What's our brother name? The compensatory code, Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. He said we're so much consumers that you could sell us anything. He said you could put hubcaps on a hat and sell them to our folks because we've been conditioned. He said you call them Zapsters. You can go look that up. It's called Zapsters. And it's funny because he said he's talked about our spending habits. And as we're going on, as time goes on, we're relearning the power of the dollar. Because we forgot that. We thought you get $1, you go get a better car than your neighbors, you go get a bigger chain than your homeboy, you go get a bigger bottle at the club. My man's, when I stopped drinking, my boys was like, yo, why you not coming out? You know what happens, Sister Keisha? I tallied how much money do I spend in the club every weekend when I was going out every weekend. Close to $400 easy. Close to $400 easy per month. I was saying to myself back then, yo, that's a car note. Any car that I want, that's investment.
Right.
If we know how to properly invest, because
I
these are things.
I know club owners, so I ain't have to pay. But go ahead.
No, I'm not even talking about getting in the club. I'm not talking about getting in. I'm talking about once I'm in.
I ain't pay for nothing, and my girls ain't pay for no drinks either.
Well, my legs not built like y'all's. I got to pay. I got to pay. You know. But the point is our value system as a collective and as a community. Because as we talked about culture at the top of the show, what became Black people's culture? Sexy Red, Nicki Minaj. What is our culture? But I remember when we were
tattoos
being Black.
On the face.
I'm sorry?
Tattoos on the face.
Right. And what was taught to me that the culture was to be the subculture in the United States, to be the underbelly of the underclass, the criminal underworld. Because we didn't know at the time that these were laws that was put in place. This was a psychology that was put in place before any of us listened to the show, even our grandparents was born. There was a criminality on Blackness. So we adopted that identity of being Black is synonymous with criminal activity. So even those of us who had jobs were still engaged in some type of quote unquote illegal activity, whether we sold a little weed on the side, whether, you know, whatever it was, whether we was having gambling card games or whatever, even though that, you know, that's just family fun, you know, but whatever it was, we always aligned with criminality because everything else that was quote unquote supposed to be legit, we was boxed out of. And we're still learning business. As Black people, we had 1 or 2 people who were successful in business, but as a group, we don't know jack about business. The only thing we know about business is hand-to-hand sales. I got a hat to sell, you got the cash and carry, that's it. And business is so much deeper than that, and there's so much more benefits to it than that. Sister Keisha, it reminds me, and I'm gonna pass the mic, it reminds me real quick when they was challenging Donald Trump for not paying his taxes. And, you know, him being the audacious dude he is, he said, yeah, I don't pay taxes, so what? He said, y'all not going to do nothing about it because you and your friends benefit from it. He said, if you don't like it, change the tax code, but I know you're not going to do it. But what do we know about taxes, Sister Keisha, in business? See, us as employees, we get taxed on the amount of money we make for the year. We get taxed before we get the money. Businesses get taxed after they spend the money. So if I make $100,000 a year as an employee, I'm taxed before I even see the $100,000. But if I'm a business and I make $100,000 a year, after I pay myself, pay my employees, all my expenses, pay for my car, my quote unquote transportation, let's say I got $10,000 left, I'm taxed on that. Nobody tells you that.
That's
that
right.
As a business, you should spend up all your money because banks will still give you more.
That's right.
And their credit system is different than us as an individual. It's so many things that we are now learning that we still haven't mastered that other groups been new. And this is what I'm talking about. But these folks with the curly hair and the black suits, they created their institutions. That's what their buildings are for, to exchange information. Yeah, they'll talk a little history, but best believe they working on the future. Oh, we want Bed-Stuy. We want Brownsville. How do we get it? Let's pool our money together. Let's go. It's a game that's simple to play, but we got to get our head in the game as a collective. Us four alone can't do it. 10 of us alone can't do it, because once you in that ring, you fighting with the big dogs. You a puppy fighting with the big dogs, because economics is war. And the moment they see you in certain rooms that you ain't been coming in, you the new target now. They're gonna crush you. So we have to create our own arena to play in. And that's why, real quick, Black, and I'm passing you the mic. That's why I say we need to look at other arenas. Untapped potential, underdeveloped potentials. Look, we took $5,000-$10,000 to get out of Bed-Stuy, to get out of Fort Greene. Now we can't even afford to come back. Ain't that crazy? But go ahead, Brother Black.
Yeah, what I wanted to say earlier was about how you was talking about how it's unfortunate we don't have UAMs and those kind of forums anymore. This is a continuation of that, brother. Now it's an online game. So we are the legacy creators in this day and age. Now that we of age, we have experience, we can look back and reflect on those things and then give it to the people out there in our listening audience.
Right. And me and Sister Keisha we touched on that earlier through our text about the value of UAM and things like that. And I agree with you, brother Black. The only caveat of it is that the UAM ain't allowed just anybody. On the internet, anybody could just tune in. They in our meetings. UAM, you ain't the right. If you melanin deficient, you stopped at the door.
So are you saying that New Southgate is watching us as we speak?
Of course.
Yes.
See what them Negroes talking about. Let me tune in.
Yes. And then too, because we're gonna get into that in weeks coming. How it all failed. You know, what's the problem with leadership? I think a whole generation was looked over. And now we're trying to play catch up in a war that has escalated. Because, you know, even back then, Brother Ted, I would tell people, you know, where technology was going as far as social media was concerned. Because, again, working on a business side of things, you see the progression of where things are going. Like with, you know, I'm telling people who were selling T-shirts on the street, you know, omnichannel is the way to go. If you're not in e-commerce, you're going to lose out. But now you're playing catch up. You're playing catch up. And that's problematic because as you play catch up, it's difficult for you to grow, right? One of the things that we used to have often with UAM is business meetings. We operated that organization like a business, right? UAM is the conglomerate. But under that conglomerate, you had the Freedom Retreat for Boys and Girls. You had the UAM forums. You had Friends of Like It Is. You had the Freedom Party, right? So again, different entities fighting under, working under one umbrella, right? And having different agendas. Right? What I was doing with the Freedom Retreat, it had nothing to do with the setup for the Freedom Party. When you forming a political party, not only do you need capital, but you need a legal wing, right? And so we didn't really have a legal wing. We had legal experts. We were fighting a machine. You understand? Playing catch up. Playing catch up. And even now, where technology is going, a lot of us today are still stagnant in our approach to things. Like you said, nobody is teaching business. You know how many offers the Thorough Black Talk get from various banks because we are a business? Do you know how many offers we get? But you also have to have the intellectual fortitude to know that you can't jump into every pool, right? You can't jump into every pool because every pool won't allow you to swim. There's some shallow ends that you can drown in. So we got to have these kind of closed door meetings, and this is why the BK William Mackey History Club is important, because you can go there for a history club meeting and something can be happening in the community, and you come down and you speak to the people. Now we can take action surrounding about what it is that you're doing, i.e. what happened with Chanel Lewis, right? I.e. what happened with the pervert who was raping his daughter in the church. You understand? Action comes out of these meetings, not just sitting here and twiddling our thumbs. And now today is so much talking, it's like diarrhea. Everybody got diarrhea of the mouth. But you look into, there's one particular prepper that I watch. He's on the gram. I'll send him to you, Brother Tad. Urugu, but he tells Black people what they should be prepping for. He said it's about to go down. Actually, his commentary is when shit hits the fan. Excuse my language. Be prepared for when shit hits the fan.
That's HTF, right? That's HTF?
Whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, he tells people, Black people, when it goes down, take the black and green flags off your porch and off your windows and stuff. Don't let nobody know what you got, pew-pews or nothing. Nothing. Because you got these migrants encroaching. Brother Tom reported last week how they put piss and doodle on people's porches and property. How they coming up to your door and knocking on your door and panhandling or whatever. When that's a setup for them to rob you. Like today, I had a delivery. I had an appliance delivery today, right? I had 3 Spanish-speaking men in my house. 2 of them is darker than me. Well, darker than me, right? None of them is speaking the language that I spoke. So when he started talking, I said, oh, hold it. What you said? So the other one, the light-skinned one, he came over and he said, well, you telling me what it was. And listen, why y'all in here? English only. English only. Because then I'm going to think something going on. You're trying to rob me. So the darker brother, he started laughing. I thought, if I understand what you say, I think you try to rob me, I'm going to pull out something and tell you that. Yeah, you did.
Hey, Keisha, you in and out real bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you went out.
I gotta fix that. But that's my point. Don't let people come and encroach upon you and push what they want. You on my turf. This is what it is. Brother Tag, go ahead. While I try to fix this.
Oh no, I mean, because I mean we coming down to the wire, and
Right.
I don't want to take it in a whole nother direction, you know. But hopefully our audience, you know, understands where we coming from. You know, y'all could always email us some suggestions, thoughts, ideas, topics that you want to talk about, things you may feel you want us to address, because it is getting down to critical mass right now. You know, during this Black History Month, we're definitely going to start critiquing a lot of our leaders of the past and well, we ain't even got no contemporary ones. You're the contemporary leader right now. You're the leader of today. But we're gonna look at what went right, what went wrong, because there is a crisis. There was one. We really ain't got no leadership no more. But y'all know how I feel about leadership. Just use that for a lack of better words. But we have to deal with the crisis in leadership that derailed us when we were moving in the right direction. Everything we're talking about we need right now, we've already had, particularly during the Reconstruction. You know, there's not too much new under the sun. It's only that we lost what we already had. We're trying to regain that. We're trying to regain our sovereignty. We're trying to regain our identity. We're trying to regain our refined culture of Black excellence, because I think that's something that's forgotten. So we're cool with mediocrity. We're cool with rhetoric. We're cool with the flashiness. as Sister Keisha was talking about, with the preppers saying you got to pull down your red, black, and green flag. Brother Black, I had a conversation with a brother before, and we were talking. He said, "Hey, brother, I didn't know you was this deep." Da 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 da. He said, "Looking at you, I would never know that." I said, "Well, we're at war, right? Why would I wear a uniform in enemy territory? That's how you get targeted." I walk around, I look very ambiguous, Brother Black. Spanish people try to talk to me in Spanish. Sometimes some Haitian people try to talk to me in Creole. Nobody know who I am, where I'm from. People try to recruit me to Islam. Christians want me to come to their church, because I'm so ambiguous. You don't know who I am or what I represent. And I said, we have to be like that, because this is how I get in certain rooms and find out certain information. I went to a meeting some years ago. I talked about this on the show before. The alphabet folks organized, pulled their money together, got somebody from Boston to come down to New York, run for city council. He won. Now he got his hands in the coffers. Now he could play with all of this money, because I'm not sure. Sister Keisha, correct me if I'm wrong, but New York City has the 4th largest budget in the country, only to beat by California, New York State, and the federal budget. New York City has the 4th largest budget in the country. What does that mean? The mayor doesn't control the money, city council do. What does that mean? You allocate the money. You decide where it goes. It's something nobody told us as Black folks. Just go vote. Just go vote. And they only tell us to vote for the president, which you do not do. You don't vote for the president. They measure your popular vote against the electoral college. What is the electoral college? It's just a hodgepodge of whoever. It's community activists. It's local politicians. It's your local dog catcher. It's a bum on the corner if they want it. That's who the electoral college is. There's no special qualifications to be a part of electoral college. Am I correct, Sister Keisha?
Keep going.
Yeah. So this is who select the president. But that's the only time they tell us to vote. Because when it comes down to city council and judges, which are very important, the money and the laws. Those are the only time you should be talking about that. And those should be people from your community who represent you and your interests. But again, the alphabet folks know how the game go. And I'm sitting in the room because, again, I'm ambiguous. I'm learning these things. I'm constantly learning. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So they giving him an award. He giving them awards. And it's just an exchange of nut hugging going on. And I'm paused. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. But this is how the game go.
Austin used to always say at the UAM, he used to say it all the time, and I'm sure Sister Keisha can attest to this. We need to really have a real political education. And most of us, like you said, brother, think politics is about voting, winning, and losing. It's so much more complex than that.
Yeah. But again, these are the conversations we need to have. This is why we really need our own space. And this is where the crisis in Black leadership come in, because we have some of these spaces, but you got to be aligned with their agenda. You can't have them Black power meetings in my space, and my Arab brother can't come to my mosque. Oh, you can't be talking about rebelling against
You can't bring my white wife? Oh,
right.
Come on.
Oh my God. Did I ever tell you about the time I met Marcus Garvey's son? That's another story. Story for another time. I swear. Shout out to Sister Tony and Brother Ariel, because they were there. They were my witnesses. I didn't know the dude had a white wife. Brother Black, real quick.
Why didn't you know this?
Because damn him. Right?
Damn
His
what?
pops was the man, not him.
Huh?
His pops was the man, not him.
Yeah, and his other brother and his other, okay.
Because we winding down. I gotta make this quick. I gotta make this quick and to the point. So what's his name? Dr. Julius Garvey was speaking at the Restoration. I go there like, oh, it's gonna be dope. See Marcus Garvey's son. Da 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 da. I said, yo,
How do you feel about black people that marry outside the race but still run around with the red, black, and green flag that your father created, knowing that he openly spoke against miscegenation? Dr. Julius Garvey said, well, brother, you know, people love who they want to love. And after that, all I heard was, wah, 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 wah. Somebody's like, yo, you know you got a white wife, right? I was like, what? I said, Marcus Garvey's son got a white wife.
Hey, some of our most revolutionary, like Sheikh Anta Diop and a few others, had white wives too, brother.
Yeah, you know what? And it doesn't negate the work. Let me be clear. It doesn't negate the work. However, this is where the crisis come in, because you want to bring your white wife.
Marcia ain't having no parts in that. Let her talk, brother.
I'm not gonna allow.
Wait. Let Tad finish his point. And then we go. Let Tad finish his point. Go ahead, Tad.
I'm gonna let her go.
Garvey's son has no work amongst the community. He is toting around his father's work. Let's be clear. He is a great medical doctor. I met him when my son needed care, and I thought, oh my God. But he is a great medical doctor, but he is not for Black. He has never toted around and been for Black. After retirement, then he started speaking on his father's legacy. I just wanted to make that clear.
Right, but that's my point. Because for those of us, like, I didn't know then until that night. And like you say, he was there to speak on his father's legacy, which is an honorable legacy, which was one of our most royal racemen, freedom fighter, the most honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. We can't negate that. So our mind always do associations. That's just how the brain works. So you say you Garvey's son, I'm thinking you come in the spirit of Garvey. You got the blood and everything. But it's not just him. And it's not just people dealing with people outside the races, as Sister Keisha and myself was talking. This is about egos and not really getting the work done, because it's all about the results. Let's break it down to the macro. If me and my child's mother aren't seeing eye to eye, I'm not going to neglect my child's needs to spite her mother. That's how the quote unquote leaders are supposed to do it. Don't neglect the people's needs despite who you identify as your op. That's not how it's properly done. Y'all ain't got to get along, but you got to meet the needs of the people, because in the home, daddy and mommy is the leadership. And even if the leadership aren't seeing eye to eye, you still have to do what's in the best interest of the people, which are the children. I can't come in the house and say, I ain't buying no groceries. You piss me off. So the kids got to starve. That's what happens. Mom say she want to take the kids to the library on Saturday. I'm like, word, she doing that? All right, y'all, I'm doing a trip to the museum. So now some kids going to the library, some kids go to the museum. We do that all the time, because when we have very important events, gatherings of the minds and information, oh, Sister Keisha doing an event that day, I'm going to do one. We see that within our own community. And leadership, the egos are so big, you got to come to my event, because I'm only charging $10, but you could buy my DVDs and I'm selling some plate of vegan potato salad and collard greens.
But you know what though, Tad? As simple as what you just said sounds,
It is. Not sound, it is.
No, well, for us, I believe, trust me, and y'all know, I'm dedicated to this because I'm here every Thursday. When Sister Keisha write me and tell me we ain't having a show, I send the crying emojis and sad faces and all that. So what I'm saying is, for some people, because you're projecting now that everybody thinks that way because you think that way.
No, it's not about what I think. It's about operational. It's about working for success. And that's why I always say, if you ever notice, I always say, what does it look like? We don't even have no clear goals when we talk to one leader or another leader. Because one want to take you back to Kemet, another one want to take you to church, another one want to take you to Ghana. What are we doing?
Who wants to take us to liberation? Who wants to take us to liberation? That is our question. That should always be our question.
Look like? For some, For some, it looks like just staying here. Others, it look like just buy my books. That's it. Just buy my books.
But then that's liberation for one and not liberation for the nation.
Right. And again, this is why I use our parents, because we know it to work. We know how families work and we know how families fail. When leadership don't work together, we don't always have to see eye to eye. Mom and dad get a divorce, we still support the child's education and well-being. The family falls apart when mom and dad gets divorced and somebody will like, well, damn all of y'all. And then want to kick dirt on the name because you're still attached to that group, whether you're a leader or not. So, Brother Blacksmith, this is not about what I think. This is not my opinion. This is factual on what builds families and break families. And that's all organizations are. We're families. When we have a conflict within leadership, we have to resolve that, because if we're not about the resolution and what's in the best interest of the people, then we're egomaniacs and we don't even deserve to be in leadership. These are the things we have to ask ourselves. And this is why I always tell people they are the power. We are the power, not one lone voice, not no dude with a big kufi on or whatever you want to wear. You are not the boss, but people relinquish their power to other people. We got to reclaim our power and then consolidate that power. That's how we move forward, man. Ain't nobody the boss of me. I work with people. I respect people. I love the information and talent because I can learn from everybody. I can learn from a scholar. I can learn from a crackhead, because all information is eventually mine that I take in. And I have to use it for my best interest to get my goals accomplished. Think for yourself, but work for the group. Think for yourself, but work for the group. I have my own opinions. When me and Sister Keisha was doing Straight Black Pride, we didn't agree with everything that was going on. However, everything we did was to benefit the group. Whether we agreed or not, we had to come to some consensus where it's amicable for everybody, where nobody walking away from the table feeling like they got jilted or they didn't get something they wanted. You got to give to get. The crisis in Black leadership, and this is why we are where we are, because no matter who it is, look how everybody always want to bump heads, argue, and fight. Only time we bump heads with leaders is when we see the BS and we call it out, because look where they at now. Everybody we called out, look where they at now. And they called us haters. And you got some sincere folks. I always tell people, our brother Genie is sincere. I've spent so much time around. He's probably one of the most sincere brothers. I remember when I first met him, told, you remind me of Dr. Khalid. You really got a spirit because you really love your people. To the point, Genie would sacrifice himself. I'm like, you bugging. Conversations we would have because he's that committed and dedicated. Other people, if you don't give them an extra wife or bring them a child to fondue, you ain't down for the cause. You got to buy his wife $20 vegan plate of rice, string beans, and corn. I done seen it all, man.
No soy chicken?
Nah, that's an extra $10. If you want some soy chicken, that's an extra $10. I be at these events. Dudes are selling $10 bottles of Kagan water from Lake Victoria. I'm like, dude, can I just get $1 bottle of Poland Spring or something? It's hot in here. Negroes draw heat. You can't even get $1 bottle of water. And they get mad if you go across the street to the Arabs. But it's all about fleecing. And this is what I'm talking about, the crisis in leadership, because a lot of times it's a money grab. These people are fake. They be playing games. And whose fault is it? Ours. All of us who support them. All of us who be like, oh, such and such coming to town. Some people do got valuable information. Sometimes it's just good to be amongst like-minded people. That's why I love the event. When we was in Queens, Sister Keisha, then we have a great time. Shout out to everybody that came. Shout out to Dr. James McIntosh. Me and Sister Veronica walked up there together because I ran into her on the train. You know,
shout out to Sister Veronica.
It feels good to see our people. It feels good to be amongst each other. At the same token, and that's the sad part, Sister Keisha, and I'm going to pass the mic. The sad part is that's a gathering of mostly elders. Our generation need to start pulling up and showing up. But when our generation pulled up and showed up, what we want to do? We want to debate. Who was here first, the Muslims or the Moors? What culture is ours? Ancient Kemet or Nubians? Like, come, Negro. Negro. The options outside, and y'all want to play this game? Y'all want to play this game? And that's why I never engaged in it. Dog used to ask me, Tad, would you debate in these? I was like, hell no, because the first time they talk stupid and raise their voice, I'm hitting somebody. I'm swinging. Because it's a certain way you got to talk to Brother Tad. Your tone got to be a certain way before my hands start talking. My hands got a mind of their own sometimes. Part one. Part two, I'm not here to debate what's already been established. Go read the Dr. Clark book. Go read the Dr. Ben book. Dr. Amos Wilson. Come on. We got tons. We got our marching orders, but we planned. And this is what I'm talking about, Brother Black. Where are the results? Because I've been to all these events and everybody talk about every book they read, every lecture they've been to, every master teacher they met. But where's the results? What do we walk away with? Because everybody's relinquishing their power to those who they think is more powerful than them. And nobody's more powerful than you. You just have to tap into your own power and believe in yourself. Why you think I could get on this platform? I believe in myself. Why you think I took stages and microphones? I believe in myself. I was a student first. And I'm far from a master teacher, but I'm a sharer. I'm not a teacher. I try to inspire people by the way I live. And am I perfect? Of course not. That's why I don't act like I'm the most requested. That's why I don't act like I'm the King Kong of this thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I'm human. But the thing with these so-called leaders, when you identify yourself as the only one, Dr. Sukiana, when you think you got it all figured out and everybody got to join your organization that don't produce nothing, sucker polite. All of these people who literally fleece the community right in front of our eyes. Literally. And who did anything? They didn't play with us. I promise.
And sanctioned by some elders. We will get into that next week. Well, we go.
That's the mic drop right there. That's the mic drop right there.
Because we're going to get into that. Not next week, because Brother Tab will be on assignment next week. So after that, we're going to deal with the leadership that came before us. And we're going to say some things, but not no names. But you know. If you know, you know. We're going to talk about some things because if we don't, if we keep these things behind the scenes in the shadows, we will never fix what's broken. You know, Dr. J said it best. We suffer from a shattered consciousness and a fractured identity. And we have to fix that. We have to fix that. And shout out to Brother Trust Graham. I can't wait to see him next week at the BK William Mackey History Club. If you follow Thorough Black Talk Worldview, we will post the Zoom link on Wednesday once Brother Ray Ray gives it to me so you guys can view it. If you haven't seen Trust Graham before, you will. And he is of the same mindset. I like to do things backward. If we don't deal with these mistakes, it's over. And Dr. Claude Anderson told us by the year 2015 that Black people in America will be a permanent underclass. Where are we now? Actions with, verbiage without works is death. Any organization without youth is dead. The reason why the Democrat and Republican parties still maintain themselves today, even though your current president is a geriatric fossil, the youth of that party keep it alive. You ever been to a Democratic convention? You ever see who these fundraisers are? The Republican, Young Republicans Club, right here in the heart of Brooklyn on Herkimer. Go in there one day and see what it is. The problem with us, we don't like to pass things on. And I'm going to step off my soapbox and we about to close it out tonight. Get ready for next week. Because Black history is not just persons, places, or things, names, dates, and time. It is something that is forever revolving. It is current, it is past, and it is the future. Sister Marcia, your final thoughts and comments?
So I'm going to veggie just quickly on some of Brother Tad's comments on Julius Garvey. because it does hurt a lot that he is placed on this Garvey stool, right? And that's one thing that we do, is that we place people on stools that actually don't belong there. And I want to give highlight to his brother, Marcus Garvey Jr., or Marcus Garvey III, however they want to call him, who was a UNIA President General for a period of time, but then had Alzheimer's, and his succession left us. But he was a brilliant mathematician, and he was a brilliant soldier of his father's legacy. I think we lost an opportunity to gain a lot from him in the 90s and in, the 80s period, because the UNIA movement was not as stellar as it tries to be today. And maybe I'm saying that because I'm a member, but maybe I'm not. But I just want to shout out the fact that he does have an older brother, Marcus Garvey Jr., who did do a lot of work and who was fighting for us more than his brother, who went towards the other realm. And his brother did marry a sister that looked like us, Sister Keisha. So that's very important to understand how sometimes even within households, things may feel different to other individuals, right? I may grow up thinking Black power is everything. My brother or sister may be like, oh, Urugo is everything. And I can't fault them, But all I can say is that I know what my interpretation of life is. And to Brothers Tad's point, it is about our interpretation of who we want to be and how we want our future generations to be able to be celebrated. Because if we don't lay down this foundation today and ever forward, we will have a serious problem. Like we said, or like I said in previous shows, we don't want to be like the indigenous people of America, who are regulated by, what generation, and they look at certain markers to identify you in terms of a check, and if you deserve a check. We all deserve a check. My family is from Haiti. France is our provider of checks, and I deserve a check from France. I am never going to say I need a American check. I need a check from France because they are the ones. And if I want a check from America, I'm knocking on Chase Bank for what they did in 1913 to Haiti and removing all the funds, all the capital in that bank. And again, brothers and sisters, it is about understanding where shit lies. Sorry for cussing. And look out. So I'm going to give an announcement. African on the Rise is going to have its very first public program coming this March. We're wrapping up the flyer now. We are so excited, and we are a little bit afraid. Fear brings us into another realm of expansion. So fear can be good, or fear can capture you in stillness. So I am taking fear to expansion. And so I'm very excited for the opportunity that African Rise has to expose ourselves to everyone nationwide and letting everyone view our little people and what they've been doing. We're so proud of them. We give them applause, right? And so back to the show. So that was my little public announcement. And so back to the show. Thank you, everyone. Remember, you have to understand a lot of things. A lot of our revolutionary leaders, a lot of the people that we respect, a lot of people that we study may have slept white. Does that negate from the information? No. But does that negate from the level of respect that we give them? I say yes. You know, other people may say other things, but I say yes, because if you were truly consciously sleeping white, then you truly weren't consciously about our liberation. I am consciously about our liberation. I think everyone on this panel is conscious about our liberation. I think everyone on this platform is conscious about our liberation. Let's continue to be conscious. Let's continue to be bright. Let's continue to study, and let's continue to expand. Because like Brother Black always says, in an instant, things are going to change. But if we don't have the skills when they change, it's not going to be for our success. So we still need skills in order for when the flash happens, we have the mechanisms in place for our success. So peace, and thank you again for joining us and participating in another Third Black Talk on this Third Black Thursday. Let's stay thorough, people.
Thank you, Brother Black. Your final thoughts and commentary.
Thank you for that beautiful drop, Sister Marcia. That was very beautiful, and thank you. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the near future with pure optimism, hoping for the best, planning for the worst. We see all the whistleblowing. We see all the revelations as far as the cosmic activities happening. I don't have to be specific, because if you're just paying attention, you see these things happening. And we're living in the days of revelation. So prepare for the unveiling, which is exactly what the apocalypse means. Apocalypse doesn't mean like, tragic, devastation and war and all that. Apocalypse means the lifting of the veil, if you will. And just, if you're doing good, continue doing what you're doing. If you're not doing good, or if you have to think about if you're doing good, then you need to retool, remap, and then go back and figure out where you went wrong and right itself. I don't have to be very specific with any information, because there's so much out there now. No need for me to hone in on anything in particular. So just continue doing your good works. Love and respect each other. Listen to the panel and people that listen to us, who will take that information and give it to those of us who may not believe or even see life the way we see it. And just continue being black until you are reborn. Because like Pharrell's group, nobody ever really dies. So let's keep going. Much respect to the panel. Much respect to the listeners. Much respect to those who will listen soon after. Peace and love. See you next week on the bridge, y'all.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Brother Black. And you can follow him on Facebook, melaninforever.blogspot.com. You see it across the screen. You can follow Sister Marcia, Africans on the Rise. You saw that flash across the screen as well. Brother Tad, your final thoughts and commentary.
Yeah. I just want to say that it's Black History Month, right? And you as a Black person are definitely making history today. Let's change our thoughts, our behavior, our patterns. Let's change our lifestyle if it's not productive. And even if you are productive, there's always room for improvement. But always remember this. You have the power. You have the ultimate power. Everything you're looking for outside in this world already exists within you. You go to the metaphysical realm and then take it cosmically like my brother Blacksmith, but I want to keep it simple and basic. Only power people have over you is the power you give them. That's what made Malcolm, Harriet, Frederick, Dr. King. This what made all of our greats, because they didn't allow anybody else to dictate who they are. They practice Kuji Chagalia, self-determination. I tell you who I am. You don't tell me who you think I am. All right? So with that, exercise your power and all the decisions that you have to make, because we make decisions daily that affects our life in a good or bad way. So hopefully you're inspired by something you heard tonight. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. And remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, it's always better days ahead. Peace. Sister Keisha.
Brother Tad, you can follow the OG Wisdom Podcast on YouTube and all your streaming platforms. Shout out to C Gutter.
See, Gutter, where you at?
Can't wait for those guys to get started again. Can't wait for those guys.
Oh yeah. Oh no, we cooking backstage. We cooking behind the scenes. You gotta.
There you go. Don't let it out the bag yet, Tad.
I gotta be your first interview when you come back, bro. You owe me.
Oh, it's too late for that. I got you. We got tons of them. They're all loaded in the clip. About to let them go.
Tell you, boy, you got to regulate these gentlemen. I'll tell you. Family, thank you for joining us for another episode of Thorough Black Talk Worldview. We definitely appreciate you, each and every one of you who come in and hang out with us every Thursday right here on the Brooklyn Bridge. You can follow K Fighter on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. It's about to go down 2024 on the K Fighter platform. Ooh, I'm coming at everybody now. You know, my animation is almost done. I think the brother almost got it done. At least that's what he tells me. I'm going in. Everybody, because see, I can hide behind the camera. Everybody getting their ass whooping. But y'all have a great week.
Hey, you got to have a special foot for Mayor Adams. Come on now.
It's so
leave my mayor alone.
A special foot.
Listen. He getting the
Leave that guy in the gutter. Let him be swallowed. Swallow.
Okay, show's over.
Swallow.
On that note, good night.